Hi everyone, welcome to today's session on key selling points and demoing new functionality for Totara Engage. I can see the attendees numbers just creeping up again, so I'm going to give folks a little bit of time before we kick off just to join the Zoom session. I want to say welcome to everyone. Today I am joined by the fabulous and sensational Matt Lineker, Customer Success Manager here at Totara. Hi Matt.
Hey Meredith.
What an intro. Matt is going to be my co-host today. Matt is going to be sitting here on the chat and the QA area. So questions are invited and very much welcome. Questions are best posted within the Q&A functionality within Zoom because each line is a new question, so they're super easy to work through and answer. And any questions that we don't get through today or that I can't answer during the session, we get a nice little report from Zoom with all the questions that were asked, so we can pick those out really easily. Having said that, the chat is open and ready for you. When I might mention various links or resources, Matt will hopefully be kind enough to post those in the chat. So do keep an eye on the chat functionality within Zoom as well. So as always, I'm going to be aiming for 20 or 30 minutes, but I think if anyone has attended my other sessions, we're sitting around the sort of 40 minutes stage, but I'm going to really work hard to cut that down today. But if you have to go, that's fine. We are recording the session, and the recording from today's session will be available within the community to partners within the next couple of days. As will be the slides. The slides will be shared with Alliance partners via the marketing folder that Iris is looking after, and you can access that there. If there is anything that I don't get through today, or if you have any questions after we've concluded the session, then the discussion forums in the Totara community are the place to go. We'll be keeping an eye on the product updates forum. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to share, we'll be keeping an eye on those forums for you. So once again, welcome to everyone that has joined today. This is a recorded session. The recording will be available to partners, as will the slides. Now, today's session is going to be predominantly slides, but I've got a few screenshots mixed in there. And if there's any questions where I can't adequately use words to describe it, then I do have a site lingering in behind these PowerPoint slides to jump to if we need to. So don't be afraid to ask a tricky question where I need to provide a demonstration. I will do my best. So before I get started, is there anything in the chat that I need to be aware of, Matt?
No, but as Meredith says, please feel free to ask any questions or place anything in the chat. I'll add some links into there. I've just put a link into some training available on Engage in the Academy if you've not already taken that course. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions.
And Matt is also very much an expert on Totara Engage. He's been writing most of those Academy courses. So you might be treated to him answering some of your questions today. I haven't told him this yet, so I can't imagine the look of panic on his face right now, but you know, it might happen. So I'm going to play just a 2-minute video. So if you've seen it already, you can maybe dash and get well, probably not a cup of tea, probably not enough time to boil a kettle, but maybe a glass of water. Otherwise, just playing this video here. This is something that's available on our YouTube channel and through our website, and summarizes a lot of what we'll be talking about today.
Formal learning plays a pivotal role in your overall learning experience, but your people learn better at the point of need when skills and knowledge are put to practice. Smart organizations know that learning is a fluid process occurring through multiple daily experiences, but using social learning and collaborative workspaces to make learning more effective can be challenging. With Totara Engage, you can easily collaborate to solve complex problems and access the information you need exactly when you need it. Totara Engage is the learning experience platform that engages your workforce for higher performance and shortens learning curves with personalized playlists and custom resources that are curated from multiple channels and delivered on any device. Integrate Totara Engage with tools like Microsoft Teams, Totara Learn, and Totara Perform to efficiently overcome individual or department-wide challenges without disrupting workflows. Set up workspaces organized by project, topic, or department to collaborate and share expertise. Build a connected culture and unlock knowledge sharing throughout your organization to boost engagement. What's more, by combining Totara Engage, Totara Learn, and Totara Perform, you'll benefit from an integrated talent experience platform that empowers your people to align with your company goals and perform at their best. Visit totaralearning.com or talk to a Totara partner to see how Totara Engage unites, upskills, and engages your workforce for higher performance in your new world of work.
Alrighty, did they manage to get, the cameraman managed to get you in that, Matt? I spotted myself, but I didn't see you.
I don't think I'm in that video, unfortunately for everyone.
You're lucky. Alrighty, so this video is just one example of the resources that we're providing both the partners and the general public around Totara Engage and across all of Totara 13. So as Matt's mentioned, there is a range of academy courses. I've gone in and I've completed them and they are extremely good, and there's some fantastic resources. Matt and the team have done a really nice job, so do check those out. There's also the help documentation, which is available to partners now, and given we launch tomorrow publicly, will also be available to all, so you can share that link. These partnered videos are only one set of videos we're offering. There's also those pre-recorded demonstrations that the product managers produced for the Q&A sessions that we were running earlier on in this month, and those will be available for a little while yet. And we've updated the Totara Learning website. So the product pages within there have been updated and have a range of information there for you. And of course, there's a lot of new marketing resources that are available now and more to come. And the RFP database, which some of you I know use, looking at the names in the list, and that's very much a coming soon entry for Totara Engage. I kind of need something from you guys there, which is any RFPs for learning experience platforms that you might have received or will receive. If you can send the examples of the kind of questions and requirements that people have through to me, I can start populating that database with some bit of a knowledge bank in terms of responses. So I'm interested to know, for those of you that maybe have attended or watched all 3 of these key selling point sessions, can I get maybe a +1 or a me in the chat? I'd be interested to know who's attended all 3. There's no, if you have and you don't want to say, that's totally fine as well. It's just out of personal interest to see if this might be useful to you guys. So let's start off with what is a learning experience platform. What is an LXP? So looking across definitions from various industry analysts and other LXP providers, I found perhaps a surprising level of consensus from everyone. So I've collated the main and kind of agreed points here, which is something that supports, or software that supports, self-driven, ongoing and social learning. Something that provides a mechanism for the discovery of new learning opportunities. A system that supports social interaction between peers, colleagues, subject matter experts, etc. Allows curation or collections of content. Creates and supports a culture of sharing and collaboration, is user-driven and provides a personalized experience, allows for the discovery of new content, both at the point of need and supporting a particular need, and where content is targeted by offering recommended content, often via machine learning. So thinking of this in contrast to a learning management system, which organizes and delivers formal, instructor-led or compliance-based learning created by L&D members and subject matter experts. So just comparing those two. So the first release of Totara Engage includes some really exciting functionality that have a range of applications. So rather than talk about all the features that we see on screen and how they can be used, I want to instead focus on the sorts of use cases or problems Engage can be used to address. And this is a little bit of a different approach than what we took for talking about key selling points of learn and perform, just because some of that functionality was familiar, whereas this is all new functionality to many of you. So I'm taking a slightly different approach. Before I really get rolling, Matt, is there anything I need to know there?
No, that sounds good. No one's asking any questions at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, thank you. All right, so first up, engagement. Here, an organisation has a problem with a lack of staff or learner engagement. Now, investing in employee engagement will increase productivity, work quality, and help retain your top talent. Employees who are engaged and work collaboratively deliver higher quality work and are more productive. Even better, engaged employees are happier, both at work and in their lives. So what does Engage offer to improve or support engagement? So it helps remove barriers to relevant and timely information by providing the ability to sort and collate content based on topics and hashtags through the catalogue search, and by offering bite-sized information or bite-sized learning. Engage offers reward and recognition for contributions and involvement through likes, and I'm trying to focus on here, through likes, shares, ratings on resources and playlists. You can see here 86 likes, people love this one, and all the different ratings on it. And staff can be involved and create and curate content through resources and playlists, thus encouraging and supporting the sharing of knowledge. Engage also offers personalised recommendations through machine learning and supports the creation of quick pulse surveys, which you can see here on screen, which is a simple survey which can collect relevant information and improve engagement through the feeling of involvement and by folks offering constructive feedback. And this is just an example of the engagement reporting that you can generate, where you can see, if you squint, that there's a piece of information, a resource here that's been created, and the different, how many playlists it's been added to, how many likes it's received, the comments and shares for it, which workspaces it's linked to, and how many people have viewed it. And this can be sorted like any other report builder report, and customized like any other report builder report. So moving on to social learning. So across Engage, social learning is a general term that I'm using to encompass different types of learning opportunities other than formal or structured or instructor-led training. So predominantly social learning, but I'm going to be general enough to say different types. So the problems that you might encounter is a resistance to instructor-led or prescribed training, missed learning opportunities, the old I don't know what I don't know, or I didn't know that I wanted to know that situations. And your peers hold a lot of valuable, or most of your peers hold a lot of valuable information and insights, and tapping into a way that's timely, convenient, and non-disruptive. And interruption to the flow of work. So this could be interruption, disruption, or even distraction to move to a different system to access learning. The process of finding the link, going to the link, accessing the learning might be enough to distract that individual from what they were doing and their general productivity. So what does Engage offer to improve or support social learning? This is primarily through peer-created and curated content. This is like a tongue twister to warm up for speaking, which offers informal learning opportunities, intentional and unintentional learning, and support for self-directed learning. And these opportunities appear through peer-to-peer learning with shared resources, through the machine learning-based recommendations engine, which provides targeted recommendations and undiscovered content, and easily identified micro-learning. So you can see on screen, for example, you can identify the resources that you create will be less than 5 minutes to read, or between 5 and 10 minutes to read, and individuals can search for that type of content based on the amount of time that they might have available to them. So it also leads to the discovery and quick access to just-in-time or point of need and targeted learning, and the right learning at the right time. And the learning catalogue within Engage, you can see if you're familiar with the Learn catalogue, we'll also have those playlists and resources that are available to individuals across the catalogue. And if you're using Learn as well, then you have access to the courses and the programs and the certifications within that catalogue as well. And with the Microsoft Teams integration, Engage offers learning in the flow of work with a seamless and continuous connection between learning and work. For those of you that haven't seen the Microsoft Teams integration demo that Sonia provided, and maybe Matt might be able to provide a link to that course where that recording is stored. It's very much worth watching. Even if you're not working with any customers that have Microsoft Teams now, it's such a nice integration. It works really beautifully and it's worth a watch so that you can talk about it if you do come across customers that are using MS Teams in their day-to-day work. So before actually, spoiler, anything in the chat that I need to know about, Matt?
Yes, we're just getting a few questions on the report builder in Engage. So question from Ian, just asking, can you aggregate the reports to show a leaderboard of users that create the most engaging content overall?
There's no, well, I guess there's the aggregation option within the report builder, but the engagement report that you saw across here, let me flick back to that here. This is the kind of information that you see. There's no total count, but of course you can sort and filter because it's a report builder report and adjust. So this is pretty much everything that you can report on through the content engagement report template, but you can edit it slightly, but there's no absolute aggregation outside of the standard aggregation functionality that you see within Report Builder now.
Thanks, Meredith. Monica's asking, are there any preset reports, such as the one you just shared in Engage?
Yeah, so yes, thanks. So yeah, there's a content engagement report template. So we talked about report templates as a new feature across Totara 13. So when you go into the reports area, in fact, why don't I talk about this by showing folks, in the reports area, if I go to create a new report, as you can see, I've done it quite a few times already, there is a content engagement report source. And if I click on it, then I can quick create, but this is really what we just saw. And there's also an appropriate content report as well. So there's 2 new report sources specifically for Engage. And of course, yeah, you can edit that and update the columns as you need to. Oh, here we go. So you can drill into the individual and their particular information. Okay.
Okay, so nice question from Lewis. He's asking, do Totara Learn courses display in Teams as well?
Yes, they sure do. Yep. It really is a really nice integration. So in a nutshell, in terms of what it does, I'm just trying to bring up the, so this is the Microsoft Teams, a snapshot of the catalog, but you can go into your courses and it displays in the same iframe as you would see here within MS Teams, and you can access and complete courses as you would ordinarily by jumping straight to Learn.
I'll share the video from Sonia in a second, and I'll also share an Academy course on MS Teams integration with Engage as well. I'll put that into the chat.
Who wrote that, Matt? Who wrote that course?
That was me.
It was you.
Another question. Will the recommendation engine be available for a standalone Totara Learn 13 installation too, or will this just be in Totara Engage?
The recommendations engine is part of Totara Engage only.
Thank you. And Lewis is also asking, for the MS Teams integration, will programs and certifications also be shown in the integration?
If you have Learn as well, so programs and certifications aren't available in Engage. You need Learn for programs and certifications.
Thank you. those are all the questions we have currently.
Okay. Nice, thank you. Alrighty, so curation. So problems an organisation might have in terms of curation would be organising disparate information, grouping related information, supporting different groups which have different learning requirements, and leveraging and accessing internal expertise. So in Totara Engage, anyone can curate a set of internal or external resources such as videos, podcasts, a collection of links or a single link, articles and surveys, so those quick surveys that we saw a moment ago, into a set of resources known as a playlist. This collection of resources are based around a specific topic or several topics, such as leadership and/or communication. Both creators and consumers of playlists can benefit from this creation by adding value to content by building playlists, so having complementary content or building information from basic through to advanced, by the mechanism of just simply sharing knowledge, by mentoring and leveraging theirs and others' subject matter expertise, and offering content in context with different collections relevant to different groups. Playlists can be private or shared with specific individuals or workspaces, or shared with everyone across the site to view. So a nice example of a playlist is having maybe an induction playlist. So you can create a onboarding and induction playlist, and everyone has access to it. And it's relevant for the new starters. Once you have completed that, maybe you move on to the next playlist, which might be, as we see on screen, an introduction to leadership and management. So there could be different playlists for different stages in your development and your process of onboarding at a particular organization. Simply one example of a playlist. Moving on. So, and last up, collaboration. And this is fostering and supporting a collaborative working and learning environment. So problems an organization might have include a lack of collaboration between teams and groups, or even within teams and departments and groups. Poor communication across the organization or within a team, information silos and team silos, and a lack of public or private project spaces for collaborative work. So we know that engaged and connected teams are more productive and deliver results faster in a much more efficient way. It is rare for individuals to work effectively in silos. And to complete projects and to achieve their goals, people will usually need to work in groups or teams, or at least have help from someone. It's vital for a modern workforce to have collaborative spaces to ensure that working together is as harmonious as possible. Totara Engage helps ensure teams collaborate effectively and are able to share and curate vital information at the point of need. So uniting teams and sharing expertise through shared knowledge and shared experience via public or private workspaces. And we can see an example of a workspace here where we have a discussion area. These discussions can have replies and comments as well as likes. You can search across these discussions. We also have a library of resources. So resources and playlists are associated with the work space, and you can have your own imagery, and you can go through these individual members of a workspace and connect to them individually as well. So these workspace improve communication by opening conversations about resources and playlists within those workspaces, and through mentoring and peer-to-peer knowledge and information sharing. Also by ensuring correct, relevant and appropriate content via ratings, likes and reporting of inappropriate content. And we just saw that as a report source across Totara Engage. Ultimately, collaboration is all about building trust and relationships, and you can do that within Totara Engage. So before I move on, any questions in the chat, Matt?
Just one question, so I think it's important that everyone hears the question as well. It says, is it okay if clients have the Totara integration, so the MS Teams integration solely with Totara Learn, for example, without Engage, or do you have to have Engage to have the MS Teams integration?
Yeah, so MS Teams integration is part of Engage. So like the recommendations engine, MS Teams integration is for Totara Engage. Yeah.
And those are all the questions.
Okay. Excellent. Time for a sip of water. And a dramatic pause. Okay. So we're doing all right for time. Here are those those pillars that we've seen before. So we've presented on these 6 pillars of engagement and motivation in the past, which for some, including me, has been a little theoretical without seeing and understanding the features and functionality Totara Engage has to offer. But now most of you have seen Engage and viewed the help docs and or completed or are completing the Academy courses, hopefully. Plus what we've gone through today and the screenshots that we've talked about in these questions, I reckon we're all probably in a better position to frame and understand this narrative, which is, now that I've worked through Engage and understand it, I've seen it, do resonate a whole lot more. So these pillars are principles applied to the creation of Totara Engage, and I'm going to move through them. Don't worry, I'm going to go really quickly. You'll see how the features and use cases that we've just gone through connect to these ideas. So these pillars are the categories of what one needs in a system to create and maintain engagement and motivation. So with discovery, it's all about reducing the time and barriers to find relevant content. Barriers might include too much content, the wrong content through poor or irrelevant search results, but also not knowing what you don't know, which is where the recommendations engine comes in. Next up, curation. Is the management and collection of meaningful information, and this is through Engage playlists. Recognition is about recognizing the efforts, knowledge, and collaborative behavior of users and other staff. You'll see this through comments, likes, shares, and ratings on items, and through the content engagement reporting we saw a moment ago. And look, we're already halfway. So collaboration, this is sharing information and knowledge, and therefore improving efficiency. This is achieved through workspaces and the discussions and libraries of resources they host. Integrations, by connecting Totara Engage to other systems to share information, it prevents disruption to an individual's work and can offer timely and relevant learning in the flow of work. And last up, we must be able to collect and track these engagement points and contributions in order to learn and improve and recognize engagement and motivation points. So hopefully, for me, that ties things up really nicely, and I hope it does the same for you. I promised I'd be quick, and I actually, in this case, finally delivered on being succinct. So are there any questions on this before I move on?
There's no questions on the 6 pillars. Jonathan's asking a question about the logic of the recommendation engine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the only question we have currently.
Well, let's hit on it. Let's try. What's the question?
Oh, so
just the logic.
What is explain the actual logic? How
I see. I thought you were being ominous. Okay.
No, no.
So the way that all of the algorithms and the technicals behind the machine learning, I can't explain to you. There is some technical documentation which is available, and Matt might post a link in the chat to the developer docs. However, broadly how it works is that recommendations can be on 4 different points. It can be on trending items, micro-learning, workspaces, and resources or courses. So there's a couple of different blocks across Totara Learn, which you may be familiar with, which you can add and then configure very slightly to display certain information. And then you can add another one of those same blocks and again configure it slightly to show slightly different information. I think the course summary block or one of the courses block is a bit like that. So one block which can display information in a different way. And the recommendations block works in the same way. You can add up to 4 of these blocks to show these different areas of recommendations. Now within the plugin settings, you switch the recommendations on, and then you can configure how many days of content it will process to generate that data. So depending on the item, so things like trending is just going to be the number of people that have viewed and commented and like, and factor in the level of engagement on items in terms of trending. There's other logics across the different other views of the recommendations box, but that's it very much in a nutshell. I would suggest, if you want more information, given I'm trying so hard to stick to my 30 or 40 minutes this time, maybe have a look at the documentation for how the other information is generated, and perhaps look at the Academy courses as well. Any other questions pop up, Matt?
Just when something has been shared, if you send it to everyone, are you able to change that information? If not, is there plans of this in the future version?
No, I believe that the owner of the information is anyone that can change it, being able to share it. If it's available to everyone, then you can continue to reshare it, and that's the only change that would be allowed. Okay, so moving on to competitive advantages, you can see that Engage is pretty great. I'm pretty excited about it. But how does it compare to other LXPs? So for most software, it's really hard to get a functionality comparison because very few organizations want to share their software with other software providers for that assessment. But we do know a few things. And one of them is that Engage is based off open technology. So Alliance partners can get in there and adapt and customize and add plugins as required. So it is flexible and is adaptable. And there are also a range of configuration options, and you can turn on and off features as you need. So it can be very much customized to an individual organization's requirements. It's also themable and brandable for a particular organization, just like the other Totara products. And of course, it has a very rich integration with Microsoft Teams and is built off the Totara core platform. So it has their core functionality. So it has the audiences and automation and personalization and the report builder, and touches across multi-tenancy as well. It's also cost effective, particularly when it's paired with other products and the multiple product discount model that we're offering. And of course, with being a Totara product, we have the advantages of having the free and open Academy, the help documentation, and the support desk. And finally, of course, Totara Engage is part of the Totara Talent Experience platform and can be used in combination with one or all of the other Totara products. So with Totara Learn, it provides a complete learning offering with social and formal learning. With Perform, it can be used to help recognize participation, collaboration, engagement, subject matter experts, talent and mentors as part of performance measures. And as the full talent experience platform, it becomes a full learning, engagement, and development suite. And because of its open framework, Engage can also be used alongside other applications. So as a standalone learning experience platform. And with things like HR import and single sign-on, it can be integrated lightly or deeply with other systems as required. So as with the other sessions that I ran through in terms of demoing, my approach here is, because there's a fair bit to go through to get your Totara Engage fully populated and ready for demoing, I've created a checklist of the steps that you'll want to make sure that you hit upon to fully populate a site with enough data to run through a demo. This is a checklist, and because we're sharing these slides after the fact, I'm not going to go through them now. You can go through them after the fact with the slides and check them off. But this is based on my experience of getting my local site up and running and having a play with items and trying to demo it to other individuals. I say trying, and successfully demoing it to other individuals. So there's some checklists, which I say you can go through at a later time. And again, I'm looking at suggesting that in terms of demoing it, you work through various use cases which flow together nicely with the few example items here. So just very quickly to explain what I mean here. I would suggest if you were demoing Engage, you would start off with, going through that checklist to start with, but then moving on to maybe an onboarding staff member. So they hit the site, they see their dashboards with their recommendations. They can then hit on the induction playlist that you may have created. and perhaps complete a survey and show how simple that process is of navigating, finding information, accessing a curated list of content, and completing one of those resource types of survey. Then perhaps logging in as an employee who would then have a list of different recommendations. They can go through and search and browse the catalogue on certain topics to access relevant information, or maybe filter by a time limit that they might have. So they've just got 10 minutes, so they're going to look at some learning, and rating resources and participating in workspaces. Then perhaps focusing on a subject matter expert or someone that's mentoring others, and looking at actually creating a resource and creating a playlist and showing how you can use the nice editor and embedded media to create nice content and resources, and how playlists are a very nice drag and drop process of collecting new and existing resources together. Then perhaps logging in as a manager to showcase the Microsoft Teams integration, where within a team chat you can recommend or link a course or send individuals to, look, this product has been updated, so have a look at the new specifications, here's the course link, boom, the individual is over into the can see within Microsoft's team the updated specs and work through that learning and the flow of work. And by also recognizing contributors, so looking at who has shared content, created playlists, who are participating in workspaces. And finally, the administrator, and talking about that engagement reporting and how it can extrapolate who's participating, who's engaging, who is perhaps maybe an unrecognized talent across the organization. Okay. Questions? Any more questions in the chat there or in the Q&A, Matt?
There are some burning questions.
Burning, goodness me. All right.
So Ewan's asking if we can stop people from seeing content if it's shared to everyone by accident in Engage.
Well, I mean, you could always change the visibility settings, I suppose, but yeah. It's just like anything across any product. If you accidentally share it with anyone, then you're going to have to change the settings in order to remove it. Yeah.
You can delete the content as well.
Of course, yeah. That's one really surefire way of preventing them from seeing that content. Yeah.
So we have an anonymous attendee. Can you have more than one MS Teams integrated?
Per organization, would you have more than one MS Teams? But for every, you can link one MS Teams system with one Totara Engage. Maybe you're talking about having multiple organizations sharing one MS Teams environment, which I'm not sure would work. It's per site.
Okay, and currently can Slack also be integrated, or is it just MS Teams for the moment?
Just MS Teams for the moment. Slack is on the list, but with all of the products that we're releasing tomorrow, we are very much focused on collecting feedback from partners and subscribers on what would be the next best thing to work on. So our roadmap will be in a lot of ways informed by the use of Totara 13. So, do let us know, do post feedback and ideas based on your experience with 13 across or either through the help desk or in the suggest a feature forum in the Totara community.
Another question, are there any recommendations or use cases about how to best combine formal and informal learning, learn and engage in an integrated way?
Matt, can you recommend anything?
On that, one of those courses, I've written a document called Getting Started with Totara Engage, and in there I sort of show use cases, for example, like onboarding and things like that. So you can see from a learner's perspective, from a site admin's perspective, how how you could complement Totara Learn and Totara Engage together. I'll show a link to that document so you can have a look at that. But there's lots of different use cases, obviously, that you could combine formal and informal learning.
And I should say, Matt is very much underselling that resource. I've had a look at it and it is excellent. And I strongly recommend everyone has a look at it. It's got some great ideas and talks about how you can successfully implement a strategy for using Totara Engage with different organizations. It is excellent. Actually, just on the word recommendations, it just reminded me of one thing I wanted, one kind of quick tip across recommendations. Because it is generating recommendations based on use. You will, if you want to demo the recommendations engine and suggestions and have trending items, there is a little bit of work for you guys to do to set up your demo site. You will need to log in and generate that data. There is also a bit of one of the configurations options for the recommendations engine is how many days to collect for that recommendations engine. Think about how long you've got before your demo and also factor in things like the weekend. If your demo is on a Monday, you might want to extend it beyond 7 days so that your data isn't reset and collected. So just be mindful of the number of days that you want to process the recommendations information. That's just a pro tip. Any other questions?
We don't have any other questions currently.
Okay, well, I'm going to start a poll, which is sort of a little engagement thing. Hopefully you guys, are you seeing a poll pop up, Matt?
Yep.
Oh yes,
yes.
So which features of Totara Engage do you think will excite or interest your customers the most? And this is multiple choice, so you can do it. So I'm gonna hide just for a bit of mystery, see these results coming in. So thank you so much for participating in this poll. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much, Mr. Lineker, for helping me out. We are seeing almost, get your votes in, folks, because we're seeing a pretty even split here. This is exciting stuff. It's like the election polls going up and down. We'll keep this poll open for a little bit longer. If you have any further questions, please do feel to post them. We'll stick around for a couple more minutes. And as always, please post any questions that you have after the fact in the forums, and we'll jump on those as soon as possible. Looks like most of you guys have voted, so thank you so much for the results. We have a really interesting split. It's pretty even, to be honest, but I think my enthusiasm for Microsoft Teams is shared by everyone. So we see, oh, it's changing. Someone's a swing vote. Around 57% of people feel like MS Teams is going to be something that excites folks, followed by the recommendations engine, totally agree, 43%, content creation, I beg your pardon, 36%, playlists and workspace coming in even at 25%, and quick surveys. So interesting that on a quick survey, people weren't rating it. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. That's great information. I appreciate you participating. Are there any other questions in the chat, or are we going to call it a day, Matt?
There's no more questions, but if anyone has anything they'd like to know before we leave, feel free to throw a question in the chat.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your time and attention. I do appreciate it. This concludes all of our September sessions for partners. We will be moving on to some sessions. We'll have one tomorrow on the Talent Experience platform. And then across October, we'll be offering a dedicated session on Totara Learn, Totara Engage, and Totara Perform, and Totara Mobile. Well, it's where it's going to be more of a demo. So perhaps you'll see me drinking my own champagne and using those demo workflows that I just suggested to showcase the functionality across all the products in the Talent Experience suite. Alrighty, I actually kept almost to time this time, so thank you for keeping me on track, Matt. I think we can call it a day.
Okay, thanks so much, Meredith.
All right, thanks everyone.